regular city council meeting. Ask everyone to silence their cell phone, maybe. I'll do the same. Also, if you would, please stand and join me in pledging the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. And again, welcome, everyone. Item 2 is consider agenda for adoption. I have one item I'd like to add, and that would be under Appendix V, Acknowledgements Proclamation Resolution. This is a Van McCullough resolution, who is retiring as director of the Cumming Playhouse Singers. Do I hear a motion that be added?
Make a motion.
Have a second. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Councilman Perry is absent due to sickness, so he won't be at the meeting tonight.
I'd like to add on the announcement, item C.
On announcements?
Yeah, on announcements.
Okay, Councilman Sexton, item C under announcements. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Okay. I hear a motion to consider the agenda for adoption as amended.
Make a motion.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Any opposed?
Opposed.
Unanimous with Councilman Sexton absent. Or Councilman Perry, I'm sorry. Okay, executive session. Is there a need executive session, Council?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, under item 5, the regular city council meeting of March the 17th. I assume everybody got a copy? No corrections? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Have a motion for approval, second for approval. In discussion. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Motion carried unanimous. Councilman Perry absent. Item 5, proclamation, acknowledgements, and resolutions. The first one I'll read for the Garden Club Week proclamation, and then I'll ask members of the Cumming Garden Club if they would to come up and be presented with the resolution and for picture, and give them opportunity to speak if they'd like. Okay, this is Garden Week in Georgia proclamation. Whereas Cumming Garden Club is affiliated with the Laurel District of the Garden Club of Georgia Incorporated. And whereas Cumming Garden Club chartered in 1949 with the mission of beautification, education, and conservation, plays a significant role in protecting and enhancing Georgia's garden resources. And whereas Cumming Garden Club promotes various garden-related activities in Cumming and Forsyth County in its mission to share the joy of gardening with others, which include award-winning flower shows for Cumming and Forsyth County, Cumming Public Library floral designs and horticultural educational exhibits, garden therapy residence projects at White Oaks, at Lanier Assisted Living Home, floral designs for Forsyth County's annual Senior Expo, a foundation garden at Chester T Community Building, the Charles F. Welch Memorial Garden in Pools Mill Park, mentoring and maintenance of a Girl Scout garden at Pools Mill Park, and restoring and maintaining a Forsyth County Head Start building, courtyard garden. And whereas the Garden Club of Georgia Incorporated has declared April the 19th through the 25th, 2015 as Garden Week in Georgia. Now therefore let it be proclaimed that April the 19th through the 25th, 2015 be set aside in Cumming, Georgia as Garden Week in Georgia toward the goal of focusing attention about the joy of gardening. Hereto set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Cumming to be affixed this 21st day of April, 2015, signed by myself, H. Ford Gravett, as mayor. Members of the Garden Club, if they'd come up right here, and we'll present this proclamation to the club. All the council like on the ring. Come on in here. Act like you know each other. Y'all like to speak on the podium? Yeah. Thank you all. We appreciate all y'all do.
I would just like to say thank you on behalf of all the members of the Garden Club, both the day and the evening section, for being supportive of garden clubs in Georgia and of our local garden club. I know many of you remember Ms. Lucille Otwell, who started, along with several of her colleagues and friends, who started the club back in '49. Now, most of us are not old enough to really remember that, but we do. But we hope we're carrying out some of the things that she inspired in our community. And thanks to you, Mayor Gravett, and council for all the beautification that you do on behalf of the city to keep our city looking nice.
And thank you all very much. We appreciate the beautification y'all do, not only in Cumming and Forsyth County, but other members and clubs throughout the state. Thank y'all very much. Okay, the next one is item B, congenital diaphragmatic hernia awareness proclamation. Do we have someone here to accept this? Okay. I'll read this and we'll go through the same, okay? Okay, this is a congenital diaphragmatic hernia awareness proclamation, whereas 1 in every 2,500 pregnancies are diagnosed with congenital diaphragmatic hernia, CDH. And whereas since 2000, it is estimated that over 500,000 babies have been born with CDH. However, only 50% of those babies survive. And whereas CDH is as common as spina bifida and cystic fibrosis, however, very few people know about it or are aware of it. And whereas 1,600 babies are born with CDH every year in the United States. And whereas there are people living in Cumming, Georgia, who have been diagnosed and have survived their CDH, although many families in Cumming, Georgia have endured the horrible pain and grief associated with the loss of loved ones with CDH. And whereas those with CDH often endure multiple surgeries and possible medical complications beyond their diagnoses that include heart defects, pulmonary complications, gastric and intestinal problems, developmental delays, and many require respiratory and medical support for years to come. And whereas raising awareness of this congenital defect will help bring about acceptance and support for those suffering with it, and will help advocate for urgently need medical research and advances. Therefore, as mayor of the city of Cumming, I hereby proclaim April as the month of congenital diaphragmatic hernia awareness, and hereunto set my hand and affix the seal of the city of Cumming, Georgia, the 21st day of April, 2015. So if y'all would come up, I'd certainly be honored to present you with this. Thank you very much. Thank you. Does anyone like to speak on behalf of the proclamation? Certainly they'd have the podium. Okay, item C is Water Professional Day proclamation. This is an honor for the city employees to receive this one. Since Water Professional Appreciation Day resolution, since 1978, when the Environmental Protection Division issued the City of Cumming its withdrawal permit, the city has been the sole provider of water from Lake Lanier for residents of both Cumming and Forsyth County. In the years since then, the city has taken numerous steps to ensure that residents of both the city and county are provided safe drinking water and sufficient sewer services. Employees with the City of Cumming Utilities Department go well above and beyond in providing these services. Director John Hurd and his team work daily to prepare for the future, guaranteeing that water and sewer needs of not only current residents but also future residents will be met at every hour of every day. This is especially important task given the City of Cumming and Forsyth County continue to remain among the fastest growing communities in the United States. Some 55 people are employed in the city's Department of Utilities. All of these individuals bring true professionalism to their jobs while providing vital services that are a necessity for all society. Whether they work in billing, customer service, water production, distribution and collection, engineering, stormwater, water pollution control, all water professionals provide critical service that are most often taken for granted, but that are essential into virtually every aspect of life. It is fitting and proper that these individuals and their efforts be appropriately recognized during this recent completed session. The General Assembly amended Chapter 4 of Title I of the Official Code of Georgia relating to holidays and observances so as to designate the first Monday of May of each year as Water Professionals Appreciation Day. As such, by the order of the Mayor and City Council of Cumming, Georgia, Monday, May the 4th, 2015, designated as Water Professionals Appreciation Day in the City of Cumming. This special day recognizes for all the men and women who work tirelessly to ensure that our tap water is safe and that our water resources are protected and properly managed. Hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Cumming to be affixed this 21st day of April 2015, signed by myself as mayor. And I'd like to request John Hurd and any employees he has maybe to come up and receive the Platinum Award for this. See, this is sewer. This is one we need, right? Come on, Lord. Come on on in, Tim. Thank y'all. We appreciate y'all for what you do. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, we have another one here, and this is resolution for the wastewater treatment facility, and we're certainly proud to announce that the Bethevue Road Advanced Water Reclamation Facility has won a 17-year platinum award for compliance with the state and federal government, and John Hurd is going to elaborate on this a little bit. John, you worked very hard with all your employees, and certainly with a lot of the seminars that y'all are required to go to every year in reference to these. So you would elaborate on your employees and what all the hard work they go through.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. You know, sometimes water and sewer workers are kind of out of sight, out of mind, and the only time we think about them is when we don't have any water service or we have a sewer issue. There are, as you said before, 55 employees that are working tirelessly around the clock to ensure that the city's water system and wastewater system are working properly. Now, back in 2008, you, Mr. Mayor, and the members of the council voted to construct a new wastewater treatment plant on Bethevue Road, and it's the top left picture there on the easels. That's an 8 million gallon per day wastewater treatment plant, and it has advanced technology in it, the latest technology that's available to treat wastewater. That facility was constructed at a cost of $35 million, and I would say that over the past 10 years, we've spent around $100 million on improving the infrastructure in the city's water and sewer service area. And I might add, too, that no money was borrowed, that the mayor and the council went into the city's reserves and paid the $100 million to make all the improvements, which included a raw water intake on Lake Lanier with a mile-long pipe out into the lake, and also a water treatment plant that can treat up to 24 million gallons per day, and various other lines and pump stations in between. The wastewater treatment plant is a facility that takes in the wastewater from the community, and there's a biological process where we grow microorganisms that destroy the sewage, turn it into clear water. We filter the water and we send it out back into Big Creek. That facility has a very stringent National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit, an NPDES permit. You've probably heard of many different types of NPDES permits, but a direct discharge from a wastewater treatment plant is one of the major types. That permit is very stringent, and our staff runs thousands of tests each day to ensure the quality of the water within the process and then the quality of the water going out. And for 17 years running, the city staff has operated that plant in a manner that allows them to maintain compliance with federal and state regulations. And so for 17 years running, that facility has not had any violations of any type of their permit, which is a great milestone for the city. But I have to say that, you know, unless you, Mr. Mayor, and the members of the council provided excellent technology like you have and put forth the effort to construct such a great facility, it would be harder for us to attain those 17 years. So we're very thankful to work for you and the council and to be able to run such a facility with such advanced technology that enables us to keep that thing in compliance for 17 years. But I guess I would see it all as a great big team. We've sort of had the dream team over the past 17 years, really, with each one of you councilmen, you, Mr. Mayor, and all of our other staff, and Gerald and Steve, too.
Well, John, thank you very much for those kind words, but I know myself and the council would like to take credit, but you and your employees and the engineers have done a tremendous job. Whenever we set out with the plans to build this facility, we had money in reserve, like you said, about $35 million, so we didn't have to go up on the utilities and anybody to build this facility. A state-of-the-art complex, and to go 17 years without a violation, and when you're dealing with state and federal government and dealing with with basically hazardous waste, and that's what sewage is hazardous waste, and not have a violation. It's a great testament to you and your employees, and certainly you ought to be commended. And with that said, I'd like to present you with this Platinum Award that's for going the extra miles, you and your employees, for this. So y'all come back on up, and then the council would like to, y'all would stand behind me here and present this. This is just some of the 55 employees, as John said, that we have in these departments. Okay, I'll read the VFW Poppy Proclamation, but I'll also add that the VFW has already picked up their proclamation, and I'm not sure that anyone's here from the veterans who is responsible for selling the auxiliaries of the VFWs and selling the poppies. So I will read the proclamation for the VFW and the veterans, and keep in mind that they've already picked theirs up, and I told them that I'd want to recognize the veterans for the dedication to our freedom to do what we do every day, and what we take for granted that other countries don't have. So I'm honored to read this on behalf of the veterans. It's Buddy Poppy Proclamation. Whereas the annual distribution of Buddy Poppies by the veterans of foreign wars of the United States has been officially recognized and endorsed by government leaders since 1922. Whereas VFW poppies are assembled by disabled veterans, and the proceeds of this worthy fund campaign are used exclusively for the benefit of disabled and needy veterans and the widows and orphans of deceased veterans. And whereas the basic purpose of the annual distribution of Buddy Poppies by the veterans of foreign wars is eloquently reflected in the desire to no one does more for veterans. Therefore, H. Ford Gravett, as mayor of the city of Cumming, do hereby urge the citizens of the community to recognize the merits of the cause by contributing generously to the support throughout your donations for Buddy Poppies on the day set aside for distribution of these symbols of appreciation for the sacrifices of our honored dead. Urge all patriotic citizens to wear Buddy Poppies as mute evidence of our gratitude to the men and women of this country who have risked their lives in defense of freedoms which we continue to enjoy as Americans. Set unto my hand and cause the seal of the city of Cumming, Georgia, to be affixed this 16th day of April. And that was the day that I had the ceremony of the veterans here, and they picked this up. So I just wanted to read that out in support of our veterans. And again, thank all of you who I know support our veterans for the freedom that we share today on behalf of them. Okay, the add-on would be item F. We got Linda Hurd here to recognize Mr. Van McCullough, the recognition and for his retiring as director of the Playhouse Singers. Linda?
Mr. Van McCollum has been the artistic director and conductor for the Cumming Playhouse Singers, a community chorus here in Forsyth County since 2006. He has over 30 years of teaching experience at the secondary and college levels as a director of bands and choruses. He has also been active as a church organist and choir director. His past choral groups have performed concert tours in Europe, a concert at Carnegie Hall in New York, multiple performances at the Biltmore House and Gardens, and a concert with the Jefferson Parish Performing Arts Society in New Orleans. Mr. McCollum holds a bachelor's degree in church music and a master's degree in musicology from the University of Georgia and specialist in music education degree from Georgia State University. As a member of the American Choral Directors Association, the Georgia Music Educators Association, and the National Association for Music Education, he has been very active in state and district music activities, serving as the head state adjudicator for GMEA and a clinician for choral activities. His choral groups have received continuous superior ratings at district, national, and international festivals. Tonight, we want to acknowledge Van for all his fine work in the music field throughout his career, and in particular, the outstanding job he has done as founder, artistic director, and conductor of the Cumming Playhouse Singers. In acknowledgement of 9 years of dedicated service to the community, and on behalf of the Cumming Playhouse and the City of Cumming as a whole, Ben, we would like for you to come and stand with the mayor. He's going to present you a token of our sincerest appreciation. We sincerely wish you much success in your retirement and much happiness, and we'll miss you and hope you come back to see us often.
And let me just say that, Van, we appreciate volunteerism that you've shown in working at the Playhouse, because you work tirelessly, and as Linda said earlier, I don't see how he accomplished all he did, and you did a great job, and everybody's so appreciative of what you've done. So with that said, we'd like to present you with this proclamation, and you got to have a little gift in the envelope there, and we'd like to say thank you and wish you well in your retirement. So, Linda, come on up. Hold on to it like you want to get it here now, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We'd enjoy having you say some words.
Well, say a couple of things. You probably remember the Cumming Corral, which was in town, I don't know how many years. Some of you may remember that. They ceased to exist about 15 years ago. And I think it was about 5 years in which this community did not have a community chorus. We had a community band, I think, at that time, the Sounds of Sawney. And in 2006, I want to pass on a little credit to Linda Hurd, because she's the one that had the vision for our community choral group, particularly working out of the Playhouse. And thanks to her vision and her support and efforts, it was conceived and has done very well for these 9 years. So I want to thank her and the city for providing such a nice facility for us to work in. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, man. Okay, under item 6, old business, we have the Forsyth County IGA intake generator. We have our attorney, has been working with the county, has IGA agreement for the city's consideration.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, in front of you is a very short, straightforward intergovernmental agreement proposal that I would request your approval for so we could submit it to Forsyth County. This basically is in compliance with the requirements of SPLOST 7. We entered into an intergovernmental agreement related to SPLOST 7 in July of 2011. Subsequent to that, there was the passage of course, the SPLOST by the voters, and one of the projects was the installation of a generator at the water intake plant that serves both the city and the county. And this basically is an implementation IGA. It just implements what you agreed to back in 2011 and makes clear that the county is doing what the county said it would do and the city is doing what it said it would do. Requested. Be glad to answer any questions, and if there are none, would request.
I have none, just a couple of comments. Thank you, Dana. This is something, this $1 million fee to pay for a generator for the raw water intake location, which is Deer Creek, which in light of Sony EMC having a tree to cross the lines and put out power we would still be able with a generator to have water. So that was the main purpose in putting this on the ballot of SPLOST 7, and the voters enacted this where the city would get up to $1 million, and that'll be paid for out of the sales tax. If, for instance, the generator cost is more than that, that'll come out of the city's reserve. But up to $1 million will come out of the sales tax, and that's what they entered into with the IGA with the county. And of course, this will take the signature of all the city council to approve this. So you're asking us to approve it with the.
Yes, sir, I am. Request a motion.
Chair will
to that
entertain a
effect.
motion.
Make a motion, we approve it. Go
I have a
ahead.
motion from John Deed. I have a second. Second from Quincy. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous with Mr. Frey absent. Thank you,
Thank you.
Dana. Okay, item 7, under administration, we have email security upgrade. We have Mr. Shadfelt.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for allowing me to bring this matter to your attention. What I'd like to request that you do is allow us to upgrade the method by which we send and receive email. It is put on the agenda as a security upgrade. We did have a security problem with the current way that we send and receive email. Someone had hacked several, not all, but several email accounts that we had, and they took those email accounts and sent emails to many people, which they spammed them is what it is. And because of that, we were flagged as spammers, which we're not, but because we were hacked, we were flagged as spammers, and our emails were not getting to everyone that they needed to get to. Now, before we, whenever I say hack, before we get real excited about that, nobody hacked into anything that the city of Cumming had as far as our data. It's all secure. Nobody got behind our firewall. The method that we use to send and receive email is called POP email. And basically how that works is we pay a company called InMotion Hosting to host our websites. And as a secondary service, they offer this POP email service, and we take advantage of that. We can't house our own, well, we could, but it would be not cost effective to house our own web hosting server, so we pay someone else to do it. It just makes better sense to do that. So they allow us to use their POP email service. Several problems, not as secure. If when we use that, we're limited on email size of messages that we send out, and we have reliability issues. Just this week, we had issues where the email is going up and down. And since email is it's a huge way that we communicate with at the City of Cumming, it's a pretty big concern. So when I requested that you upgrade, of course, an upgrade comes at a cost. It's not free, so that's why we're coming before you today. My suggestion would be that we use a service from Microsoft called Hosted Email Exchange. And what we get with the Hosted Email Exchange, of course, is a better security. They are HIPAA certified. They're certified by the federal government to send and receive emails securely, and even by European governments. They are certified to send and receive email security that way. We get a built-in spam filter. We also get an added layer of virus protection when we use a Microsoft security or a Microsoft Exchange. We get 50 gigs of mailbox storage, and we get a 99% uptime, which is a big deal. So the big question is this, is how much is the cost? At the City of Cumming, we have approximately 160 emails, and it will be $3.42 per email, per mailbox, not per email that we send, but per mailbox per month. And that works out to be $6,566.40 per year for all 160 emails. That's cheaper than I could build a server and host our own emails here. The size and the amount of data that we would need to be able to house here would be tremendous. So that it's cheaper to pay them to host our email service than it is for us to build our own email box ourselves. I've only got one cost for you. I know typically we were supposed to get three different quotes, but with this service, there's one government price. And everybody in the government, if you are a government, you get the same price. And it is that $3.42 per mailbox. So I could have gone to 12 different places, but it would have been the same cost on different places. So I got the quote from CDWG, which is a company that we deal with quite regularly for our technology needs. So my request is that you would consider allowing us to upgrade that, the method by which we send and receive email. And I'll answer any questions if you have any.
Okay, Chad, I believe you got everything itemized here in the booklet here that I think we have 11 various departments, and in those departments, I think you've counted, we have like 87 computers or something less than 80 computers. And within those computers, we have 157 email addresses.
Right, approximately right.
And we're talking about security for our over 20,000 customers that we have.
Exactly.
Protecting the security of their information that's within these servers.
Yes, it's right. It will protect that. It adds a layer of security that we don't have right now. Exactly.
Okay. And I think you said each address was estimated to be $3.50 per email address.
Right. It actually worked out to be a little bit cheaper than when we had talked earlier. It's $3.42. But yes,
well, and supposedly this is supposed to screen out a lot of the hacking and spam that comes into our system.
Absolutely.
This federal government and post office and everybody that's got this is what they use.
It is certified, yes.
Council have any questions?
I know.
It's requested, recommended by the IT director, Chad Faulkner, that we purchase the email $3.50 or $3.42 per email at a cost of approximately $6,594 a year. And the chair will entertain a motion to that effect.
Make a motion.
That'll be, Microsoft will be the host. That'll be with
Yes, sir.
dealing with. Okay.
That's correct.
Have a motion to have a second? Second. In discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Council very absent. Thank you, Chad. Okay, under item B, Street Department, we have a request to purchase mowers for the Street Department. Okay, Mr. Bowler.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Councilman. The Street Department wants to replace, with y'all's approval, 4 lawnmowers that are existing now. We have one which is, all of this is outlined in your packet, but and I'll explain as much as you want, Mr. Mayor. The cost of replacing these four mowers is a total of $18,833. We did approve these funds were approved in our 2015 budget. The bids that we have here were sought out prior to our completion of the budget at the end of last year, and they have been reconfirmed for the present time. So the bids that we accepted in October and November are still valid bids. 2 of these mowers, the big mower, the 61-inch cut, air-cooled electric start, will replace the Toro, which is mainly used to maintain the Veterans Memorial Park and the area around the police department. That mower at the present time is 14 years old, has about 2,500 hours of service, and parts are beginning to be a problem to obtain. The 52-inch cut mower that we've requested is to replace a machine that was damaged in a turnover last year at the end of the grass cutting season, and we just sort of made out till we got through the grass cutting season. And the 2 21-inch cuts that we've requested are to replace 2 mowers that are existing now, which have been used since the aquatic center was built. Most of our SCAD mowers are close to 2,000 hours of service in them. The one that was damaged in the turnover had 2,900 hours of service on it, and the SCAD mowers have proved to be extremely well suited for the work that our men do. The 21-inch mowers are used mainly for the grass cutting in the difficult areas to get to at the aquatic center and around City Hall, the Clock Park, and the hotel, and the playhouse. Those units are used daily and really used most of the year, 12 months a year. And this request is for $18,833. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have, Mr. Mayor, any of the council members.
Well, certainly I appreciate the dedication and hard work of our street department. Y'all do a tremendous job in keeping the streets in good order and certainly keeping them clean. I appreciate the hard work dedication. And I know firsthand that you need some new mowers, and some of them were in the budget last year that we rolled over to this year and didn't get last year.
Yes, sir, we waived
We're
that.
in bad need of them, so. Chairman, council have any questions?
I don't. No question.
What's the
I'd like
pleasure?
to go to item A. You got Howard Brothers, 9743, and Terry's Tools at 9700.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the Howard Brothers and Mason, okay, they're two local, right?
I'm sorry.
Two local, those are,
The Terry Tools are local. Howard Brothers are in Alpharetta, but they are in Forsyth County. It's an Alpharetta address, but they're located in Forsyth County.
Mason Tractor. Is that?
It's here at Coal Mountain.
Okay. We're dealing with local folks, then.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion that we purchase the mower.
There's 4 mowers total, right?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
I have a motion for the 4 mowers. To have a
Lowest
second?
bidder.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, gentlemen.
Okay, item C, planning and zoning. We have a variance request, 2015137 Curley Family Homes. Mr. Morgan?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Before you open the public hearing on this item, I would like to read the staff report, which is in your packets, into the record. Curley Family Homes has made application to the proper authorities on property it owns to obtain a rear building setback line variance for lots 38 through 41, located on Castleberry Village Circle within the villages of Castleberry Development. Lots 38 to 41 are currently under construction but not yet complete. The applicant has recently submitted a revised variance request plan for a 9-foot variance down to 11 feet for lots 38 through 41, and has agreed to demolish the unit under construction on lot 42 and replace it with a unit which meets the city's 20-foot rear building setback line. The revised plan also shows a privacy fence to be installed and a landscape buffer to be planted along the rear of lots 38 through 42. The planning board did hold a public hearing on this matter on March 17th and recommended denial of the original variance plan and has not formally considered the revised plan. However, I polled them individually, and after reviewing that, the members individually recommended approving the revised variance plan. Given the revisions of this variance plan as recently submitted, the staff recommends approval of the variance with the following 4 conditions. Number 1, lots 21 through 37 will be removed from the variance request in their entirety, and future units constructed on those lots will meet all city building requirements. The units on lots 38 through 41 will be completed as shown on the revised variance plan. The unit on lot 42 will be demolished and reconstructed to meet all city building requirements. The open patios for the units on lots 38 through 42 can never be enclosed. A 6-foot-high wooden privacy fence will be installed along the entire length behind lots 38 through 42. And the final condition, a landscape buffer will be planted along the entire length behind lots 38 through 42, according to the attached landscape plan, and the applicant will be responsible to maintain it for 1 year. Any plantings which fail during that time will be replaced at the applicant's expense. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have before you open it for a public hearing.
Council have any questions? I don't have any right now. I may have some later. So
Yes, sir.
we need a public hearing on this.
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay. All right, we'll have a public hearing. I hear a motion we open for public hearing.
Make a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Councilman Perry, absent. We'll give each side 10 minutes to, and we'll go with anybody here that would like to speak in favor of the plan.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm Christopher Light with Lipscomb Johnson here on behalf of Curley Homes. I have Chris and Mark with Curley Homes here with me to help answer any questions you might have at the end of our time. To give you a little background on this, when this whole thing started, it was based on a plat that was approved, and that plat was based on an erroneous and a mistake made by the surveyor. At that time, the buildings, the first 5 buildings along a row of what we're talking about here started to be erected. They passed all inspections up into to where they started to come up out of the ground. Curley family and the main builder, the chief builder, were the ones that actually realized that there was a mistake. Something was wrong, too close to the property line. They came to the city and with open hands and said, well, I believe we've made a mistake. At that time, I believe it was Mr. Thompson, Everett Thompson, came out and put a stop work order, allowed them to dry it in so nothing got ruined, but did place a stop work order. So with the 5 homes that are standing there, they came to the city with a variance application for 15 feet for those 5 homes because of lot 42 was within 5 feet of the adjacent property. They also asked for 5 feet for the other homes on that street, lots 21 through 37. We reached out to the neighbors, even conducted a public meeting that we invited everybody to come to explain the situation and to hopefully get some comments from them. We had 3 people show up. They had some objections and showed some interest in it, but nothing much came out. We didn't really hear from anybody else until such time as the Planning Commission meeting. The Planning Commission meeting, several members of the adjacent neighborhood showed up and had some concerns and voiced those concerns. After hearing those concerns, we revised our plan as Mr. Morgan just provided to you. I reached out again to the adjacent property owners. I sent the plans to the affected neighbors. I also sent them to the HOA president. No communication back from them was given. I didn't hear a word. In light of these efforts to compromise, and with the conditions that Curley's agreed to with that Scott read to you, except for one exception, Scott's requiring them to keep up the landscape strip for 1 year. This property and this subdivision in particular has a landscaping contractor that will maintain the property, and that will be included with that perpetually. So it'll go beyond a year. So now that we're asking just for a 9-foot variance for essentially 4 lots, we're going to tear down one of our houses that's already built. We'll wipe out the rest of them. And actually, if you look at the plans you have in front of you, only 3 lots need the 9 feet, and one of them only needs 5 feet. The patios will never be enclosed. You heard all these conditions from Mr. Morgan. We just respectfully request a vote to approve this application, and thank you for your time, and I'll reserve any time I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Light. I think you have about 6 minutes left. Anyone else like to speak in favor? Anybody like to speak in opposition to the proposal?
It pleases Mayor and City Council. My name is Stuart Teague. I represent the Castleberry Homeowners Association 2 Inc.
Again, sir.
What's that?
Your name again?
Stuart Teague.
Okay.
I represent the Castleberry Homeowners Association 2 Incorporated for the villages of Castleberry subdivision, also individuals that live in the area, including city residents: Kathleen Donovan, Adrienne Lewis, Marion Anwar, Samir Ayub, and Danny Silva. They would respectfully request that the Vader City Council reject the variance application. The homes that they have back up immediately to this townhome development, and the structures that were built within 5 feet of the setback line. So they have problems with the views down into their yards, the lack of privacy due to the proximity of these houses that have been built back against them, and other issues associated with having the presence of these structures so close to the property line. The standards for a variance do not include a mistake by the developer. The variance is a process that's used in many zoning jurisdictions, as I'm sure you're aware, which is to vary or relax the requirements for the zoning ordinance if there is a problem with the size, shape, or topography of the property that causes a developer or property owner some type of hardship related to that intrinsic defect in the property itself. So that, for example, if you had a triangular tract, you might need to relax the setbacks in order to build your structure there. That's not the case with this request for a variance due to the mistake. If you look at the language of the zoning ordinance, which respectfully, this is what the mayor and city council would have to consider with regard to this request, there's no discretion with regard to the criteria for the hardship to qualify for the variance. In other words, it's not legally proper in this case that the mayor and city council would actually grant this variance. If you look at the 7 criteria and the preface to these criteria, the first one says that the failure to meet any one of the 7 criteria would be grounds for denial. We've looked at those and they failed to meet 6 out of the 7. The reason for that is simply because the circumstance of having a mistake or an alleged surveyor's mistake can never give rise to the original grounds for having a variance in the first place. So if you look at the criteria, they can't meet it. Specifically, criteria number 5 says that the special circumstances cannot be the result of an action by the applicant. If you look at number 1, that says the size, shape, and topography. That's not what's implicated here. Number 2 is that they say that they are not deprived of rights commonly enjoyed by other townhome zone tracts. They have to show that they would be deprived of such rights. They are not deprived of rights that other townhome developers zoned to the townhome district would be permitted because they don't get 5-foot setbacks. They say that it would not confer a special privilege, but it would because it would give them a special privilege to keep almost up to the single-family detached residents that are immediately next door. They claim that it would not hurt the property values, but because these houses will remain and sit immediately behind some of the structures, it's going to have an immediate effect on property values. One of the homeowners that I represent has basically been unable to rent or lease their house because when people come look at it, they take one look at these structures behind them and basically walk away. Also, it's not the minimum variance that would be required to develop the property under the townhome district. The simple fact that they could remove these structures and push them back to the full 20-foot shows that they don't need a variance to develop. What they want a variance for is to cure the surveyor's mistake. This is not an issue where there's any type of constitutional rights. There's no constitutional right to be relieved from the consequences of one's own legal mistake or a constitutional right to be relieved from a surveyor's mistake. I've sent a letter to you. Basically, we incorporate those comments. I don't think I need to go over and beat all these points again. I do have some of my clients who would like to tell you what their own perspective is. I always believe that it's better for zoning authorities to hear directly from the affected people than hear lawyers talk.
Yes, sir. Mr. D, I think you got 6 minutes, so anyone else would like to speak in opposition?
I will make it quick. My English is pretty limited, so it will be quick and painless. I live at the house that is the...
State your name, please.
Danny Silva, sir. I live at the house that is the closest to the construction, pretty much. We're about 5 feet away from it. We looked at the plans that they sent. We still have the same concern. We worked very hard to purchase that home, and now what we have is this giant building with a window right next to our backyard. Also, our neighbors pretty much have been trying to rent their house, and they have not been able to do so. Everyone that comes in just looks at it and leaves as soon as they see that construction. So we do feel that it's going to affect the resale value of the home, of the property, which is our major concern. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sullivan. Anyone else like to speak in opposition?
My name is Samir Ayub. I live directly behind lot 40 and 41. I got a letter from Curly Homes, and it says here, is trying to do the best. Curly is trying to do the best they can to reach a fair solution for all involved. I don't think it's fair for all, because their proposal is to leave the houses or the townhomes number 41, 40, and 39 directly behind my house intact, very close. When we bought the house first, we saw the pipes coming out of the ground, and we asked the builder what these pipes are. He said that they will build townhomes here, and he showed us the plan, and we knew how far these homes will be. And my wife and I discussed that for a very long time, and we decided to buy the house as is. Now, we cannot rent the house because it's very close. If you look at it, if you visualize it, it's not going to be like you look at it, actually. So we had a tenant before, and she said one day she was walking in the bathroom, and she just had a shower, and she said she saw the construction workers there, and it was a window level. So it's how close. This is how close it is. It's not something I need to spend. I want to spend my life in that house the way it is, and I don't think we will be able to sell it for a proper price for our investment the way it is now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Anyone else like to speak? About 3 minutes.
Thank you so much, Mayor, City Councilman. My name is Adrienne Lewis. I'm also the Homeowners Association President for Reserves 2, and I come to be the voice for our community, both communities, and let you know that the homeowners are very much in disagreement of having this variance accepted or approved. On the application, Curly Family Homes stated that they requested a variance due to wanting to be able to build homes that were of similar square footage, price point, and character. This is not a valid reason for a variance request, first of all. And our homes are going to be adversely impacted if this is accepted. We've got neighbors who are so afraid right now, they're trying to figure out, do we need to sell our home? So we come to you and we are really just pleading that you guys deny them this variance request simply because of a mistake. And I honestly believe that when they I don't know what the technical word is, but when they created the square, what do you call it? The foundation, when they went to just frame it out, there we go, they could see visually that there was a huge encroachment, and that should have been a signal to stop. But instead, they went ahead, and I personally believe it was for profit. And so I'm asking that you deny this variance request. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? There's about a minute left if anyone else would like to speak. Any rebuttal for the on the other side?
Just real quick, I want the council to understand that these houses were going to be there. They were just going to be 9 feet further back. So the privacy with the lady and seeing the construction workers, that's going to be the case anyway. With our proposal, these folks will get a privacy fence. So when both sides are in their backyard, they shouldn't be able to see each other. There'll also be a privacy buffer with trees. Don't remember the height, but they're going to be over the 6 feet fence. So it's going to be more privacy than there would be had the houses been 9 feet farther back. But otherwise, thank you again. And if you have any questions, please.
Yes. Christopher, in reference to the concessions since your last meeting, I think you had your public hearing a month ago.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's right.
And at that time, you have a complex that's in discussion here of homes within 5-unit increments. Is it 5 units to this block you're talking about?
Yes, Mayor. Each one of the sections in the subdivision has 5 attached homes that are in blocks, and then
They're
there's
attached
a space.
wall to wall.
Yes, sir.
In other words, you live in this unit or this home, and there's only a wall between you to the other home.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's the variance setback that you're requesting now? Is that 9 foot?
Yes, sir. 9 feet, and it's 9 feet for 3 of the homes. One of the homes only needs 5, but we requested the 9 feet.
And at the last meeting, you're requesting 15. How much was it last
15
meeting?
feet for these, for the 5 homes, and 5 feet for 14 homes.
Okay. And you've agreed to build a privacy fence on the property line behind them?
Yes, sir. 6-foot privacy fence as well as a privacy tree line buffer with evergreen trees.
Okay. All right. I don't have anything else. Council have any questions?
Are you planning to set out trees or some type of shrubbery that grows up?
Yes, the trees they're indicated on the landscape buffer. We have pictures of said trees that we sent to Mr. Morgan.
These wasn't required originally. These is concessions that y'all have made?
These were not required. So essentially it was just going to be a bare open space, 40 feet between structures.
Was the fence originally required?
No fence, no, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
I hear a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous with Mr. Perry absent. Okay, what's the pleasure of the board? We have a recommendation by the Planning and Zoning that they reconsidered based on the configuration and setbacks and the privacy fence. There'll, I think, the landscaping to approve the request to approve the proposal that's been presented by Curley Homes, Family Homes. So what's the pleasure of the board? Chair will entertain a motion.
Go ahead. Oh, I'll make a motion. Yeah.
You're making a motion for
the
recommendation.
that we approve it.
Approve the recommendation by the Planning and Zoning Board?
Correct.
And what they got?
I have a second?
Make a motion.
Okay, I have a second.
Second, I mean.
Is the motion to approve what the planning director recommended or what the planning board did was 2 different things? Probably. The planning department staff recommendation, what you have in front of you, is read.
That's what I'm presenting here, that what the recommendation was, Planning and Zoning Board for approval with conditions.
Right.
That's the way it was, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way it was.
Louis, you made the motion and you seconded, is that correct?
If I think what Mr. Miles is trying to clarify, Mr. Mayor, is that what the planning board recommended last month was denial on a different plan. What this is, what you have before you with the conditions, is my analysis of the revised plan. So
That's what I'm trying to present, and that's a compromise that's been
That
made.
is my motion, is your,
staff report.
Yeah. With the
conditions,
concessions.
4 conditions
What we
on
going
the
by?
revised plan.
Yeah, you got it? Is that everybody? Okay, have a motion and a second. In discussion. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Let's see, motion and second, you voted for them? All opposed?
I'm going to abstain. You got me totally confused already.
Okay, got 3 for, 1 abstention, Councilman Sexton abstention, with Councilman Perry absent. So we have approval, 3 with 1 abstention. Okay. Okay, item 2, rezoning request 2015167, Jimmy Goodson. Scott?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. You have before you, it's a rezoning request, and again, before we open the public hearing, I would like to read the staff report that you have before you into the record. Terry Phillips has made application to the proper authorities on behalf of the property owner to rezone property located at 208 Atlanta Road from Central Business District, or CBD, to Highway Business, HB. The property is more specifically identified as tax map C16, parcel 098, land lot 1259, 3rd District, 1st Section, Forsyth County, Georgia, consisting of 1.26 acres, more or less. A seasonal outdoor sales business is located on a portion of the property, and Mr. Phillips proposes to locate an automobile sales establishment on an adjacent portion of the property and will utilize a pre-manufactured structure for the sales office. To the best of our knowledge, the proposed use will not be detrimental to the property owner's value, use, and enjoyment of their properties, the adjacent properties. The planning board held a public hearing on April 21 and recommended approval of the request with the following 4 conditions. Number 1, the applicant must pay for an individual water meter and sewer tap fee for the sales office before a certificate of occupancy and business license will be issued. Condition number 2, all parking area utilized by the business must be paved and sufficient handicap parking designated before a certificate of occupancy and business license will be issued. Any increase in stormwater runoff due to the paving must be addressed per the city stormwater regulations. Condition number 3, per the accessibility code and to be approved by the fire marshal, handicap access to the structure must be provided before a certificate of occupancy and business license will be issued. And condition number 4, the total area to be utilized by the business must be cordoned off by a chain, fence, wire of the applicant's choosing before a certificate of occupancy and business license will be issued. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have before you open it for a public hearing.
Okay. Council have any questions?
Is that the old Landine lot?
Sir?
Is that the old Landine Motor Company lot?
Yes, sir. At the corner of Atlanta Road and Maple Street.
Where the fruit stand is? Fruit stand on the corner?
Yes, sir. That's the seasonal outdoor sales business I referred to as the city produce on the corner.
What portion of it is he talking about for the car lot? It's not where the vegetable stand?
No, actually, sir, I think it's going to be over more towards closer to the Station House restaurant on the adjacent property. We haven't seen plans yet, so I don't know exactly the portion of the property that Mr. Phillips is proposing to utilize.
Okay. Any other questions?
I don't.
Part of the public hearing, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Okay, do I hear a motion open for public hearing?
Make a motion.
Second? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous, Council. Very absent. Okay. Anybody here like to speak in favor of the rezoning application? The Jimmy Goodson, 2015167.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I'm Terry Phillips, and I'm the one who has put an application to put this used car lot there. I've got a little thing here that shows the portion that I'd be using. It's going to be a very small dealership. It'll have usually no more than 10 cars there or trucks. And I've got a little thing that shows the driveway. It's like a little pie shape that I'm using. Just a little bitty small portion. It's probably 80 feet long at the most and goes back about 50 feet into a pie shape right there. But I can present this to you if you'd like. I can show you where I've got it lined off. It shows it and everything. But I would very much appreciate it if y'all could consider this.
Okay. The portion that you're going to be using is down next to the station, Cummins Station restaurant, right?
Yes, sir.
About how much of that land will be, fenced in or chained that you plan on using?
From the front?
100 by 100 or?
Yeah, at the most. When you pull into the driveway, there's a no left turn sign. It's about 10 feet off the driveway. And I've got that part leased from the sign at a diagonal pie shape back where I got that Oval Office setting, temporary. I got it sitting there, and it's going to go right beside it, kind of back behind it a little bit. But the only thing that's going to be used basically be out front as far as the sales parts goes.
Okay. And you're okay with the conditions that were read by the Director of Planning and Zoning?
Yes.
Be required to purchase the water meter, required to have sewer tap, you'll be required to maintain the state law and local with handicap accessibility, paving your lot, no outside storage other than vehicles. You're okay with all those conditions that he talked about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Council have any questions? Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Anyone else who'd like to speak in favor of the rezoning application? Anyone like to speak in opposition? I hear a motion to close public hearing.
Make a motion.
Motion to have a second. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Councilman Perry absent. Okay, Mr. Morgan.
Mr. Mayor, before you take the vote, of course, I just want to make sure everybody understands, even though Mr. Phillips is only going to be using a portion of the property, your vote to rezone, of course, would be on the entire property, the entire 1.26.
1.26 acres is the total
yes, sir.
acreage. And
more or less,
of course,
yes, sir.
Yeah, we realize that Mr. Phillips is only going to use a part, even though we might think there's a better use for that property, but at this time, I think we're looking at to satisfy the needs of Mr. Phillips right now and
yes,
Mr. Goodson, who owns the property.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to close public hearing? Maybe we've already done that. Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
Come here.
Make a motion.
I make a motion again.
Have a motion from Rupert to rezone did you say rezone this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
All in favor?
All in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? Unanimous. Now, with that said, I think in reference to the car lot that's going to be added onto this property, it's been requested that maybe you give the Mr. Phillips 6 months on payment plan for his permits, other than the necessary ones to acquire for the paving and the handicaps and the bathrooms and all that, but on the permit of the utilities is furnished by the city, give him a payment plan to satisfy him for a 6-month period.
All right, yes, sir.
That's what's been recommended. I hear a motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion.
I have a second. In discussion. All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You understand what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir, I do.
We've done that, I think, before.
We have done that on
Reference to
occasion, yes, we have.
Payment plan on the water and sewer.
Right.
That's heavy right out of the chute.
Okay. All right, under Police Department, we have a speed zone ordinance. Chief Tatum?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. We received notification from Georgia DOT that we have to renew our speed zone ordinance here in the city. Primarily, they do these changes when there's a road name change or speed limit change or something like that. And from the list here, it appears that the only change that has been made is Veterans Memorial Boulevard is now, or the old Veterans Memorial Boulevard is now State Route 9. All the speed limits are the same, the distances are the same as they were on the other one. It's just that road name change is the only thing that I can tell has been changed. And it requires your signature, each one of your signature, and then we send it back to the Gainesville office and they will post it, and our speed ordinance will remain sound.
Okay. In other words, you requesting a resolution by the board that would give you opportunity to change any speed laws in the city of Cumming to comply with DOT state.
That's correct. All it does is update our current ordinance. It's not changing anything other than the name of Veterans Memorial to Highway 9.
All right. Any question from the board? I hear a motion.
Make a motion.
A motion from John D. to have a second. Second Quincy. In discussion. All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Councilman Prairie absent. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Item 2, Patty's Taxi Service. Chief Tatum.
Yes, sir. An application was received from Kimberly Atkinson, doing business as Patty's Taxi and Courier Service, requesting a public hearing for the issuance of a certificate of public convenience for vehicles for hire. We've done the background check. Nothing was disclosed that would preclude the issuance of the certificate. The application is in compliance with the City of Cumming Vehicle for Hire ordinance. They've obtained a business license. And I will add that this business has been in operation in the city in the past. Due to some unfortunate circumstances, the owner had to change. So that's the reason for this coming back before you now.
Everything's in order and he's complied with the fees and everything?
That's correct.
Or it's she or whoever?
That's correct.
And it's your recommendation to approve it?
Yes, sir. We do need a public hearing on it, though, to get it approved.
Council have any questions? What's the pleasure of the board? To have a motion? Motion, Quincy. Have a second?
Second.
Second, John D. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Any? Oh, I need a public hearing for this?
That's correct, yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Getting above myself. You retract your motion, Quincy? Retract your motion. Retract your second, John D.?
Yeah, second,
Okay. All right, I hear motion we have a public hearing.
I make a motion we have a second hearing.
Second. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Anyone here would like to speak in favor of the Patty's Taxi Service? Please come up to the podium and state your name if you would.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Atkinson, the owner of Patty's Taxi. What the chief was speaking about, the unfortunate situation was my brother-in-law, Arthur Atkinson, passed away a few years ago, and we had to take over the company. And in doing so, we had a lapse in time where we had to show ownership, and we've been able to do that. And we just ask that we be able to continue to do business as we had been legally for all these years since 2005.
Any questions from the board? How many vehicles you going to have? How many cars?
It'll be 3.
3 cars?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have no other questions. Anyone else like to speak in favor? Thank you very much.
Sure.
Patty.
Thank you.
Anybody like to speak in opposition? Your motion will close the public hearing.
I make a motion.
Have a second? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, now we'll take that motion, Quincy.
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve it. Have a second from John D.
Yeah, second, yeah.
Any other discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, item E, under utilities, we have award bid for Castleberry Water Line. John Hurd.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, we advertised for this much-needed project for 4 weeks, and we received 6 bids. The lowest bid was from Strickland and Sons Pipeline in the amount of $1,592,385.25. The bids ranged up to $2,330,000 from Site Engineering. We've worked with Strickland and Sons many times in the past, and they're a really good contractor, so we recommend accepting the low bid from Strickland and Sons Pipeline.
Okay, the 6 bids, Strickland and Son was the lowest, and that's the recommendation, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And I understand you say you have done work with them, and they're comparable and capable of doing the job.
That's correct.
That, I believe you told us at the last meeting when we requested advertise for bids, this is the water line where the road improvements on Castleberry Road's being done, and it's necessary to move that line.
That's correct. When you go down through there, you'll see they've moved that road in a major way. And so in the design process, the road, to straighten it out, you really just cut up the water line, and it's just not going to be usable, so we've got to replace it.
Okay. Any questions on board? I hear a motion.
Make a motion.
I have a motion from John D. to have a second. Second from Quincy. In discussion. All in favor of awarding the bid for the Castleberry Road water line to Strickland and Son Pipeline Incorporated for $1,592,385.25. Raise your hand. Any opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council.
Carry out. Absent. Thank you, John. Item 2, request to advertise for bids for a VFD 600 horsepower pump at the water production plant. John?
As you will recall, the Department of Utilities requested this item to be in the budget. This is a device that will be added to one of our 600 horsepower pumps, and it enables us to speed the pump up and to slow it down according to demand. Currently, the operating mode is either on or off, and 600 horsepower motors take a lot of energy, so to be able to vary the speed of the pump will enable us to save money. And I believe from our analysis and our electrical engineers' analysis that in about 3 years we could get our money back just from the energy savings of installing this device. It would also enable the plant operators to operate the plant more, to fine-tune it more by speeding up or slowing down the pump. So I think it would be a good investment. We're just requesting that you allow us to advertise for bids and come back to you next month.
And maybe enlighten me a little bit on the variable frequency drive. Is that, I think you explained a little bit, but that's to basically keep the pump from speeding up and slowing down, or going backwards, or what?
Well, actually, it's pumps run at one speed, and they're either on or off. And that initial insurge of energy creates a really high demand on the pump, But this variable frequency drive would allow us to start it slow and then to speed it up as we needed more water. So it would enable us to speed up and slow down the pump as we needed. So when the demand went up and there was more demand for water, we could speed the pump up and pump more water into the system. Then when the demand leveled off, we could slow the pump down and pump less water into the system. So it gives us more ability to regulate the water going out of the water plant.
And this is for potable water, right, located at the plant up here in town?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. Do we have any other pumps that might need this same?
You know, we have this technology at the raw water intake, which is proven to be excellent technology. We're able to speed up the raw water coming out of the lake or slow it down according to the demand. We don't have any of those type devices at the plant, so we see that, you know, we've got about 7 pumps out there, but if we can put one VFD on one pump, that's all we need, and we believe that that'll serve, you know, the needs that we have.
Thank you, John. Any questions from the board? Have a request to advertise for bids for the variable frequency drive for the 600 horsepower vertical turbine pump at the water production portable plant here in town. Chair will entertain a motion. Got a motion?
Advertise
Quincy.
for bid.
Second, John Day. Second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous.
Thank you, Mayor and
Thank
Council.
you very much, John. Okay, that completes the items other than the announcements. We have, Linda's got us some good shows lined up this summer at the Playhouse. We have the chorus line at the Playhouse. That'll be playing from April the 24th to May the 17th. Also, we have Relay for Life at the Cumming Fairgrounds starting at 11 a.m. To 11 p.m. on May the 2nd. So that's just a few days away. So certainly invite everybody to be involved with that wants to do it. Item C, request for Councilman Sexton.
Okay. I'll be 77 years old Saturday. I was born in Matt in the house. The log section was built in 1770s, and the frame part was built in 1817. I'm retiring from the Cumming City Council effective May 1st, 2015, after 44 years and 4 months. I've served 78% of my adult life for my employer, the citizens of Cumming. Also, I want to thank the council members I've served with. I've had the honor of ribbon cutting for 2 new city halls, 2 courthouses, City Park, the first one in the county, Aquatic Center, Lanier Tech, University of North Georgia Cumming campus, state-of-the-art National Guard armoring. I was the first person in the county that was contacted by the Guard about locating in Cumming. I will continue to serve on the Cumming Country Fair and Festival Authority, and I want to thank all the employees of the City of Cumming for their hard work and dedication to the citizens of Cumming. Thank you.
That completes the agenda. Anything else? I hear a motion to adjourn. Peckham. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much.